The NCAA's Week 14 college football rankings are out, and let's dive into this. Starting off, obviously, we'll look at Bama. Bama being a team that is ranked 5th right now is going to be that team on the outside looking in, but you really have to question, does Bama have a chance here? How much of a chance does Bama have to get into this top 4? How crackable is this top 4? Everyone in the college football playoffs top 25 right now, out of all of those teams, guess how many of them Bama's beaten? None. Zero, zips, zilch, nada. There is not a single top 25 win on this team's resume. Now, granted, they played LSU really well. They just about came on top on that one. But when you look at a resume standpoint, what you got to start doing now, you're looking at the best teams and you're looking at the resumes. Bama's not got that resume. And then, of course, they don't have a quarterback. I mean, yeah, sure, Mac Jones played great last week. Again, no, we talk about that schedule. They played a team nobody's ever heard of, so they went out there. He did it against a bad team. You want to talk about team completeness, it's going to start at that quarterback position. You have to wonder if they go out there and they completely obliterate Auburn, you think that might open a door for them. But if they don't do that, if they struggle against Auburn, if it's a really close game, granted Auburn is a top-ranked team, that would be a win for them on the season. You have to wonder how far that'll go, especially considering what happens for these not top 4 teams, including teams like Georgia. Georgia being number 4 now. And Georgia beat you with that defense, point blank. I mean, it worked against Auburn. It worked against Florida. We talked about the resumes. They've got the resume. They've got a top defense in the league. The only defense better than them in the league actually is Ohio State. So they're going to lock you down. They might not go up there and drop 50 points on you a night, but you don't need to do that if your defense plays outstanding, which is what Georgia's done this year. It's a good place for them here at 4. Clemson. Now, Clemson, every single year, it's the same story. Where do you put them? I mean, it's a team that's really good. They just blow out every team they play. They play great ball. They've won championships. So you have to consider that as well, because you go out and say, with their team, if there's a cupcake schedule out there, Clemson's got it. They go out there and they don't play anybody all year. Again, though, you look at it's part of their conference. So you can't control who you play when it comes to the conference. And they got a lot of conference teams that just, quite frankly, aren't top teams that can help build that resume. But they go into the playoffs every single year and they compete. So you know they're a serious contender, but you put them at 3 here, I think, because they're 11-0, they're undefeated. But of the 3 teams in the top 3, they have the, shall we say, worst resume out of them all. That does not make them any easier to play than these other 2 teams. But when you're ranking them, that's where Clemson goes. I agree with Clemson at 3. Then you got LSU at 2, and I mean, Burrows, dude, that guy, absolute superstar. This LSU team can go out there and just put points up on anybody any given day. But the question and the concern comes with that 23 points per game, 9th in the conference on defense, where they seemingly could go out there and give up points against every single team every single day. Maybe that's why you see some stats like that for a guy like Burrows, who don't discredit the guy at all, but he's going to see a little bit more inflated stats because these games are close compared to where we look at this ranked Ohio State team, ranked number 1, that blows out teams pretty much every week, where you might see a guy like Justin Fields see less passing yards. Not the same point, but Ohio State coming in at ranked number 1. They've beaten 3 top 19 teams this year. And again, LSU's done the exact same thing. LSU's got that resume, but we talk about the defense. The defense is the difference here. You look at resumes and you look at complete teams. This Ohio State team is the top ranked scoring defense in the league. They've allowed the fewest yards per game in the nation. They're 4th in the league in rushing, and they're 1st in the league in points per game in the nation as well. That is a pretty tough resume to go up against when you consider they're just the most complete team in the league right now. How do you look past that? You got to hope for a Michigan upset or a loss in the conference finals out of Ohio State if you want to knock them off this top spot here. You're talking about a team that's going to have 2 straight matchups against top 15 ranked teams in the league. They completely, or in the nation, they completely control their own destiny at this point in time, I think. And unless something, again, LSU goes out there and just goes out and 60-0 these teams they play in the next 2 games, you got to assume it's Ohio State's spot to lose right now, and they deserve to be that ranked 1 team.